Imagine this: the world's most talked about leader, the man who defined an era of power, politics, and controversy, walks onto the stage. Cameras flash, crowds cheer. But this time, Donald Trump isn't here to talk about elections, the economy, or his rivals. He's here to talk about faith. The crowd quiets as he begins. His tone? Different. Calm. Reflective. He says, "Maybe we've all been wrong about what Islam really is." The world stops. Reporters look at each other. Did he really just say that? Trump continues, his voice steady. Islam, I've come to realize, is not what the media has told us. It's not chaos. It's not hate. It's discipline. It's peace. It's purpose. The room falls silent. This is the man who once dominated headlines for his fiery words. Now speaking of unity, spirituality, and respect, he talks about the Muslims he's met. Hard-working, devoted people whose lives revolve around something deeper than wealth or fame. They believe in something that gives them peace. He says softly, and maybe that's what the world has lost. Within minutes, his words explode across the internet. Clips go viral. Headlines ignite. Millions re-watch the moment that no one thought would ever happen. Some call it politics. Others call it awakening. But deep down, people can feel it. This wasn't strategy. This was sincerity. In the following days, something incredible happens. Across America, across Europe, across the Muslim world, conversations shift. For once, people aren't arguing about Islam. They're thinking about it. Reports surface of Trump quietly visiting a mosque in New Jersey. No cameras, no speeches, just him standing silently, listening to the adhan. The call to prayer. Witnesses say he didn't move, didn't speak. He just listened. And when it ended, he nodded, as if something inside him had changed. That moment wasn't broadcast. But it didn't need to be, because when he spoke next, his tone carried a kind of peace that words alone can't fake. You can build towers, he said. You can win elections. You can make billions. But you can't buy peace. Faith, real faith, is something you feel. The audience didn't cheer. They just listened, because this wasn't the old Trump speaking for applause. It was a man stripped of ego, talking about truth. Social media erupted. Millions of people debated. Had Trump really changed? Some mocked him. Others defended him fiercely. But one thing was undeniable. His words had touched hearts. A student in France posted a clip with the caption, "He finally said it." That video alone crossed 200 million views. Mosques around the world began receiving visitors. Curious, open-minded, wanting to understand what Islam really stands for. And for the first time in years, Islam trended online, not with fear, but with respect. During a later rally, Trump was asked to clarify his statement. He didn't hesitate. "I said what I meant," he replied. "If truth makes people uncomfortable, that's their problem, not mine." The crowd roared, not in anger, but in awe. For once, the world wasn't seeing the loud, defiant Trump. They were seeing a man humbled by something far greater than politics. In an interview days later, he said something that stunned even his critics. When you really see faith up close, you realize it's not about religion as a label. It's about purpose. And Islam gives people purpose, like nothing else I've seen. Within hours, his words were translated into over 20 languages. Imams quoted him during Friday sermons. News anchors debated. Scholars analyzed. And people began to reflect. Could it be that the man once accused of misunderstanding Islam had become its most unexpected defender? Weeks passed, but the wave only grew stronger. In America, mosques filled with visitors wanting to learn. Across the Muslim world, prayers were made, not for politics, but for understanding. Even those who disliked Trump admitted something had shifted. In a rare interview, one of his aides revealed he doesn't speak the same anymore. It's like he's found something within himself that power could never give. Trump's speeches stopped sounding like rallies. They sounded like reflections. He said, "If you want to change the world, start by fixing your heart." Maybe that's what Islam teaches. Peace through discipline, peace through surrender to God, and the world listened. Then, one day, a video surfaced. It showed Trump, in plain clothes, standing quietly outside a mosque. No cameras, no bodyguards in sight, just stillness. The caption read, "Power bowing before peace." That clip broke every record online. Billions watched. And when asked about it later in an interview, Trump didn't deny it. He simply said, "When you stand where people bow to one God, you realize how small you really are." That one line became the quote of the decade. Commentators called it the moment power met peace. Months later, Trump spoke one final time. His message wasn't about winning or losing. It was about faith. "The world doesn't need more power," he said. "It needs peace. The kind you find when you surrender, not to people, but to the Creator." And as he stepped away from the stage, the cameras kept rolling. But what people remembered wasn't the sound of applause. It was the silence that followed, a silence that spoke louder than words. Because for once, the world had seen that even the strongest man can bow. Not out of weakness, but out of awakening. And maybe, just maybe, that's the beginning of a peace the world has been waiting for all along.